So let's look at how you actually do a cost-benefit analysis. Basically, there are 4 steps in performing a CBA cost-benefit analysis. So step 1, you need to define the problem or question. So you need to figure out what it is you need to actually do this cost-benefit analysis. Okay, so you got to figure out what the problem is that you need to decide on, what question you need answered. All right, so that's step 1. You need to be clear about that. So the example that we're going to be looking at is you hurt your knee and you're trying to decide if you want to go to the hospital or not. All right, that's step 1. Step 2, you need to define the pros and cons. Or, as I said, we use them interchangeably, the benefits and costs. Okay, so step 1, hurt your knee, you need to decide if you want to go to the ER or not. Step 2, define the pros and cons. Well, what are the pros? What are the benefits of going to the ER? Could stop the pain, could prevent long-term injury. You'll feel stupid if something is wrong and you did not go. I can't get any work done while I'm away and sitting here worrying. And what are the cons or the costs? All right. Now the cost, remember, because we're looking at economics, goes past just the dollars and cents. So one is, yes, it's going to cost money, but it's also going to take time. So you need to figure out the full opportunity cost. It's going to take 2, maybe 4 hours. Going and getting surgery could make it worse. And then there's the pride factor, where it says my friends on the team will think that I'm not tough. Okay. So those are steps 1 and 2. Next, and let's bring this over here. Let's do this, and let's turn this and make the shape fill white. Okay, here we go. So, step 1, define the problem or question. Step 2, define the pros and cons. Now, if we were just doing a cost-effective analysis, we would look at this previous list over here, and this is what most people do, and they would say, all right, well, based on these, the pros seem to outweigh the cons, so I'll go. All right. This is looking at it subjectively. Now, with the cost-benefit analysis, we're going to take that 3rd step. And that 3rd step is place values on all pros and cons. Okay? So, if we look at it here, we have all the pros and the cons, all the costs and the benefits that we had from the previous step, and now we're going to put values on them. So the dollar value, the visit to the ER, that's the easiest one. You look at the average of what an average trip is, and that's what it's going to cost. The time factor, all right, the opportunity cost. How much is that time going to be worth to you? Okay. And again, this is all person by person. It's how much you value your time. And so for this person, each hour is worth $7. 7 times 3 is 21. Okay. We talked about the pride factor. Now we talked about willingness to pay. For the cost, it's basically how much are you willing to pay to get over it. All right. How much is it worth to you to be able to get over it? All right. So in this idea is with the pride factor. So they talk about it in a different way here, but the example I use is how much would I have to come and give you for you to say, all right, whatever, you give me $40 to not be worried about that? Okay, fine, I'll do that. So that's kind of doing it there. Now this last one here, the serious injury, surgery can make it worse. Well, that's not really the decision that you're making today. So when you're doing these analyses, you want to focus on the decision right now, right in front of you. So when you do all this, you put the values on it and you find the total cost to be 141. The pros, it might stop the pain. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more as we extend, but not everything's 100%. And so you need to factor in some different things. And so this is done here, preventing long-term injury, pride, time, and all that. Okay. So with all this, you put values on it, and you get what the total benefits are. So let's go back here. I said there's 4 steps in a cost-benefit analysis. Step 4, you see if the total benefits, TB, is greater than the total cost, TC, and make your decision. Right. So one of the things we assume is that people are rational. With the cost-effective analysis, we talked about how you would look at the pros, the cons, the cost, the benefits, and look at it from this perspective back here and say, all right, let's see, I think those pros outweigh the cons a little bit, so I'll go with that. That's you looking at it subjectively. With the cost benefit, you're actually bringing in those values, and step 4 is when you are adding them up. And so with the cost effective, you're subjectively looking at it. Here, if you go through and do each step here, okay, well, which is greater, 141 or 290? Okay, you can clearly say objectively 290 is greater than 141. The benefits are greater than the cost, and so it's clear that this person would decide to go to the ER by going through these steps. So the cost-benefit analysis really extends on the cost effectiveness, and it does and we're showing step by step what people may do a little more intuitively. Now, the reason why people make different decisions is because people have different values, different preferences. And so, for example, let's say the pride factor here. Let's say somebody is really, that really concerns them. Okay, they're somebody who is really concerned about the pride, worried about looking like a wimp. And so for them, the value of that cost is, instead of 40, it's 240. Okay, they place a lot of emphasis on that. Well, because of that, the total cost, since that goes up by 200, it becomes 341. Now 341 is greater than 290, and so this person would not go. And this is why people make different decisions. Right? People have different values. People put different emphasis on different areas. And with all that, that's why some people go to the doctor, others don't. That is why some people have surgery, others don't. Okay. Now, granted, we've talked about this from the patient side. This can also be done on the insurance company side or on the physician side. Okay, and we'll talk about that a little more when we talk about kind of the stepwise decisions, looking at the margin. But overall, this is how a cost-benefit analysis is done. All right, you have those 4 steps. Step 1, define the problem or question. Step 2, define the pros and cons. Step 3, quantify those pros and cons, put values on them. Step 4, see which is greater, the pros, the cons, the cost, the benefits, and then you make your decision.